Good afternoon, YouTube family. Martinez Country Home here. Um, Today's Wednesday, January the 19th, 2022. I hope everybody's been well, guys. There's a lot to talk about. Right now, we're expecting some kind of a cold front, a very cold system coming through. It's kind of weird because it's not going to be freezing. The temperatures, as far as I know, is not going to fall below 32 degrees. But we're expecting inclement weather. We're supposed to, I believe, in the morning, we're supposed to be getting have icy roads. I don't know how severe, but it's kind of strange. It's kind of weird. I guess it happens. A lot going on, guys. It's been a couple of days since I made my last video. Since then, a lot has happened. Um, what I wanted to talk about today, guys, because, and I know I've said it before, I know a lot of people have mentioned it before, but what we are living through right now is a deliberate deconstruction of America, of our culture, of, of pretty much Western society. What I would call the democratic way of life, of having supposed freedoms and stuff like that. Um, I wouldn't even call it communism, um, although the agenda is like that. Um, but when you have communism, you're saying that a government is implementing this type of economic system on their people, and I don't believe we have any governments anymore, guys. Honestly, um, I think we are under the control of corporations and banks. That's pretty much what has happened. Um, when which I don't know how that happened. If you're a sovereign nation, even if a bank were to lend you money, um, you would, just because of your sovereignty, it doesn't make no sense, logically, to my mind. If you're a sovereign nation and the bank is lending you money, quote unquote, uh, you as a sovereign nation uh, would say, well, you know what? I don't know. It just doesn't make logical sense to me, guys. I don't know if you're following me, but it's never made sense ever since I learned what I learned about the Federal Reserve and how they took over pretty much the creation of money. It makes no sense. It's like when I used to hear about kings, that like kings of old, that they would, like in Europe, the monarchs, and they would fall under, into debt to the banks, right? Uh, you know, I it, it was always very strange to me to hear that. Uh, that you're a monarch, right? You're a king, and you're gonna let some entity hold you under that. You're in debt. When you, as a monarch, as a so-called sovereign, you would you know what I'm trying to say? You would not have a debt. You would say, you know what, give me the money or whatever. I know that's kind of simple way of putting it. But before I get off on a tangent here, uh, I used to watch, you know, I'd watch some movies, right? Like, for example, Resident Evil, and there was always this. If y'all ever watched Resident Evil, they have this entity called the Umbrella Corporation, uh, that runs that runs everything, right? The city is the Umbrella Corporation, the police. And I used to wonder, like, how is that? How is it that a corporation can be running the country, or how is it that they became a government? You know what I'm saying? How is it that they're calling the shots? And of course, that was back when I did not know how the world really worked. Um, what we're seeing, what we're living through right now, guys, is the corporations are making the laws. At least that's what it looks like to me. They're making the laws. If you ever start looking into a corporation, right, who gets paid first, right? It's always gonna be the investors, the 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 board of directors, or whatever you want to call them. They're the ones that always will get the money first. That is in the contract, or whatever, however you want to say it. Um, the responsibilities of the fiduciary is to make sure that the the investors, I forgot, there's a word for it, there's a word for those people, that they get their money first, and then whoever, and then after that, the other creditors get the money, right? uh so I believe that a lot of these things that we're seeing with certain things being forced, I believe it's because it's under contract that they get their money. They have to get their money one way or another. um the first time that I got that that idea was when they ran through Obamacare, um, and the Supreme Court said that it was a tax. I never understood that. Um, Basically saying, forcing people that they had to buy this product, either buy the product or pay a fine, or however that went. And so everything that we're seeing right now, guys, is either, and it goes a lot deeper, with social impact bonds, and you know uh, we are basically the resources of the so-called government, and we've been, we're the slaves of either the government or the corporations, right? uh, it's all the same. The U.S. government, I call it U.S. Inc. um, and all the other corporations, guys, are basically under that umbrella. They're basically subsidiaries of U.S. Inc. They're all the same. They're just branched off. um, I'm being very basic here, very general, but when you look at the big picture, they're all connected, and they just basically sprouted. It's many heads of the same beast. So when you try to talk sense, and you try to use logic in trying to defend your position, with the people that are against us right now, with the people that are against humanity, um, it's almost like, they're not making sense. You're trying to make sense. You're making sense, but it falls on deaf ears, and it's by design, guys. It's by design. So we have Russia in the political side, the geopolitical side. We have Russia, and NATO, basically ramping up for war. Russia called in their reserves a couple of days ago, and I was gonna make a video then, but a lot of people were talking about it, and it kind of died down a little bit. Um, all I can say, guys, it doesn't matter what's going on, but what people have to be doing is preparing. We have Russia and NATO, the Western countries, basically lining up for World War III. And usually when countries go broke, and they're having trouble with their economy, they take their people to war. And so, I mean, you could talk about the pipeline, Gazprom, and the pipeline to Western Europe. You can talk about the petrodollar. You could talk about all these things is, and that's the reason, the United States is protecting the petrodollar. Russia is no longer using the petrodollar to buy oil or sell oil. Saudi Arabia doing the same thing. But but really, when it comes down to it, guys, is we need to be preparing, no matter the reason. That's one thing, and then you have the supply shortage because of truckers. There's a shortage of truckers, and there's a lot of reasons being thrown out there that about why we're having a supply shortage. Of course, they shut down the economy because of the health crisis. Um, we have truckers that are saying, that they're not taking the vitamin. So there's a shortage of truckers. Um, Inflation, the printing of money has caused inflation, and so inflation is rising, making the price of things rise. We no longer have what supply and demand, guys. That I don't that's been thrown out the window. And that reminds me. So check this out. We have a supply shortage, right? City. This is nationwide, and I'm thinking even globally, right? So yesterday, and I'll leave that link in the description. Yesterday there was a story of how the they're gonna raise the money for, I believe, it's people that get EBT. I don't know for how many months that get quote unquote food stamps. They're gonna raise how much money they uh, put more money into their card or whatever. Um, to me, there's a shortage already, right, of groceries at the grocery store. So you're gonna give people more money to go to the groceries and buy more food that's not there. You know what I'm saying? So you have all this money for only so much inventory. And I believe that all this money printing has has contributed to that. People have more money to spend, so they go and pick up more groceries. I believe that that's one of the reasons why we're seeing uh, not just inflation because of the money that was created, but also the shortages that we're seeing. They gave a lot of people a lot of money, a lot of, from what I understand, a lot of people that came into this country brand new. They were given a lot of food stamp benefits or whatever you want to call it, EBT. They were given a lot of money, so that's not helping, guys. There's a lot of reasons why we're seeing these shortages, and it's not just because there's truckers missing. It's not just that. A lot of money has flooded our system, and now that money is trying to buy the same amount of inventory. You know what I'm saying? So that's I'm just saying. I think um, that's a legitimate theory, um, at least to me. So with the health crisis, guys, we're seeing a lot of numbers. The numbers have risen pretty high here. Uh, a lot of people are testing, so I'm guessing that's gonna make more people come out. It's gonna raise the numbers. Me personally, I have my own ideas about what's going on, but the numbers. But we're pretty much, all of us are on the same page. Um, I'm just gonna say what's being reported on the news. What I'm seeing with my own eyes. A lot of people that I work with, family members, are saying that they've been tested and they've come out positive. So that's what's going on. Uh, all of these things happening at the same time, guys, is not by accident. It's not. Um, a lot of weather events are occurring, and you could say, well, it's winter, and things. Uh, Winter storms do happen. Yes, it does, but not in the circumstances in which they're happening. Um, it only in this, really, honestly, really only in since 20 in the 2000s have these weird weather events started happening, like, pretty regular. And I think that's just disaster capitalism. It's disaster economics. It's just weather wars. Um, So that's just my opinion, but plenty of evidence to you know to support that that is at least another legitimate theory. Okay, another legitimate um, idea that it has merit. So guys, just keep on stocking, man. um, there was a story about that Alaska Prepper had put out about how China is buying up a lot of farmland. Um, and this is what I was gonna. This is another thing I was gonna talk about real quick, related to the weather events that are happening. Um, all these things. The economy is globally. The economy globally is teetering. Uh, China's buying up like half of the world's grains, right? They're basically using the United States uh, and the rest of the world as their, they're basically sucking up all the food. It's going east. The wealth is going from west to east, guys. The gold, the resources, grains, farmland. They're buying up farmland and they're shipping it east. And it got me to thinking, with all these shortages and all that. Um, it also, what occurred to me was, if um, the ruling class is also storing up food, do they have warehouses? We know they have underground cities and bases, underground bases and stuff like that. So I don't think it's a stretch of the imagination uh, to 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 think that they're storing a lot of food. They're putting a lot of food away. I can imagine the warehouses that they must have of every item imaginable. So that, along with a lot of these things, with they're talking about with the magnetic poles, and you know pick it. There's just so many things going on, and that tells me that they're doing that on purpose to just keep everybody on their toes. When you're at war with the population, you just have them in confusion as much as you can. So, and I do believe that humanity, we're under attack. By who? I would just say, I would just call them the ruling class. They're trying to put in their new system, and they're gonna put it one way or the other, and they don't care whether people die or live. Um, to them, it doesn't matter. They're gonna do it. They're gonna try their best to do it, and uh, to them, in their eyes, it's inevitable. That's just the way they see it. It's their system, and that's how it's gonna be. But me myself, um, I will push back as much as I can to the day I die. Um, I'm Who's to say what's right? Who's to say whose way is right? But what I believe in, is I believe in my natural rights, guys. Uh, I believe in everybody's natural rights, and I guess the ruling class believes that they have the right. If they can do it, if they can get away with it, then stop them. So far, nobody's stopped them. So anyway, guys, just keep on stocking up. Like I said, you're not just stocking up because the food might run out or items might run out. It's not so much that; it's that they're gonna go up in price, like very high. And eventually, when people start noticing, and which I think they already are, when people start noticing that there's something going on, there's shortages, people are gonna panic, and they're gonna hit them stores, and they're gonna try to buy up as much as they can, as quick as they can. So anyway, guys, I'll leave relevant links down in the description below. I hope everybody has a great day. Nice talking to y'all. Y'all take care out there. Take care of each other and love each other out there, because that's what we're here for. God bless.